our co-feature tonight, we've been waiting for this one for a while. Billy Tompkins out of Albany, New York, is up and in the ring as Superman has arrived, ladies and gentlemen. And a 13-0 record, out of the ring for 3 years, of back in with 4 fights. Will go against this man, Ben Carlos Monroe, out of Los Angeles, California, 10-5-0. And he'll step in, trained by Mickey Jones, while Chuck McGregor will be in the corner of Billy Tompkins on the other side. So the two co-feature fighters are up. Of course, Sam Hampson going down in the first round to Josh Imardi. Seems like that was about a week ago Sunday that happened. A lot of fights ending very early. But again, a first-round knockout by Imardi in one of our co-features as we headed upstairs. Let's see if we can get a better fight out of this one. Here again is Chuck Matheson.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next bout is our main event for the evening. 10 rounds of boxing in the heavyweight division. When the bell rings, referee Daryl Van Note will be in charge of the action. Introducing first in the red corner, wearing the black trunks, he weighs in at 225 pounds. He's undefeated in his professional career with 13 wins, 10 of those wins by way of knockouts. He's from Albany, New York, Billy Tompkins! Across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the white trunks with yellow trim. He weighs in at 262 pounds. His professional record, 10 wins, 5 losses, 6 of those wins by way of knockout. From Los Angeles, California, please welcome Carlos Mighty Monroe!
You gentlemen were given your instructions earlier. I expect you to listen to my commands. I'll tell you to break, stop punching, take a step back, protect yourself at all times. Any questions? Any questions? Let's do it.
Well, a couple of 30-year-old veterans, 33 for Monroe on the tail of the tape. And again, a towering man at 6'6", 262. That means that Tompkins has got to kind of punch his way in on the big guy, doesn't it, John?
And look at that reach advantage, Sam. 7 inches for Monroe.
So there you have the tail of the tape. We're ready to go as they're ready to rumble here once again in round 1. Billy Tompkins will be wearing the black trunks, while Carlos Mighty Monroe will come out in the white with the gold trim. This could be a pretty good looking fight depending on how well Monroe is prepared. Tompkins, we're told, will be in excellent condition and ready to fight.
With that height and reach advantage by Monroe, looks like Morris should be playing power forward for the Lakers. He's from Los Angeles and being in a boxing ring. Billy Tompkins, actually from Buffalo, New York, did fight a little bit in Albany for about a year. And then, of course, got into some management difficulties. Said his manager wanted him to take fights for money he didn't want to take. And decided to sit out for 3 years until that contract expired. Lost 3 valuable years, came back last year, and has had 4 victories since then.
Last fight coming in January 9th, the TKO second round winner for Stanley Wright. Weighed in at 228 pounds, weighed at 225 today. That fight with Wright was over in Atlantic City, New Jersey. So he's made the long trek across the country. Monroe, you pointed out early in our pre-fight comments that he had lost a couple of fights in a row. The last one came in a 10-round decision to Obed Sullivan in Tennessee. That time he weighed 255 pounds. He's gained up to 262 for this fight today.
Big fella in there, and you see that reach advantage. He's got to use that jab. He has a tendency to carry it low along his left side, a la Tommy Hearns. And that's something that Billy Tompkins can take advantage of with going over on top with the right hand. Billy Tompkins, great physique. He's almost compulsive about his workout habits.
1,500 setups a day.
And there's one of the things he does wrong. He tends to throw that hook wide and from the outside instead of shortening up on the inside and stepping inside. A little over anxious, Billy Tompkins.
Trying to use his left jab, but of course that reach advantage by Monroe kind of hangs him out on the end of the punch. And he comes up just a little short. He'll have to use some angles to get in on him.
Billy's also shown that he can be hit with the jab. He's got to remember to keep moving that head, make himself an elusive target. Don't stand right in front.
Tompkins has 10 of his 13 wins are by knockout, and 8 of the 10 have come inside 3 rounds. So he's been Very proficient at putting his opponents away and those that he had knocked out in the early rounds. Monroe has 6 knockouts. 5 of his 6 have come inside of 2 rounds, so both like to go for the heavy first punch. This definitely is a feeling out round with both slinging some pretty good punches, but no one really taking command yet.
They're both throwing very wide punches, and that's some of the inexperience showing and some of the rustiness in Tompkins' case. He's trying to out-jab his opponent, but he's having a hard time working his way in, Sam.
Round 2 of our explosion, one of our co-features tonight. Billy Tompkins on the left with the black, and Carlos Mighty Monroe in the white with the gold. John Saraceno of the USA Today in the boxing column. How'd you score that first round there, John?
Slight edge to Monroe. Billy Tompkins twice won the silver medal at the Empire State Games in New York, losing in the finals to Shannon Briggs and James Johnson, a heavyweight out of Massachusetts. Of course, Briggs known for those wild dreadlocks.
And known maybe for going into the round and the ring with Lennox Lewis soon. We'll put you on the spot on that one in a moment. As again, Tompkins trying to work. Thompson has the more amateur experience, much more than that of Monroe. 66-6 with 50 knockouts by Tompkins, and the aforementioned Empire State experience, while only 5 amateur fights for Monroe. He turned pro late, only in January of 1995.
And you see his defensive liabilities, Monroe. He backs straight up from punches and merely tries to grab Tompkins as he rushes in when he throws. But when you're that big and that strong, you can use your size that way. But sooner or later, Tompkins could make him pay if he could get that right hand and find target. Now, Billy Tompkins is a converted southpaw, Sam. So really his power punch is his left hand. And that's why he's a pretty good jabber.
We made mention of Monroe losing to Obed Sullivan in 10. He also lost in 10 to Levi Billups in August of last year.
And every time Tompkins tries to throw that jab, his opponent grabs him and ties him up. But Billy's got to start working that body a little bit too. Billy's kind of in no man's land, doesn't quite know what to do when he comes in. I think the size differential is giving him some problems. See that long spearing pull by Carlos.
82-inch reach by Monroe. Compared to 75 for Tompkins. You can see I flipped the left jab up there, but the jab of Monroe just kept him out of harm's way, but then he hooked the right hand to the body and it did score.
I tell you, Monroe keeps dropping his right hand. He's open for the left hook also, which is supposedly Tompkins' best punch when he doesn't throw it wide. Billy's not showing enough upper body movement, and he's also closing his eyes when he moves in sometimes when Monroe throws a punch.
Not a good thing to do, and the fact that there is always another one behind the first one that's coming.
Well, he just can't get into a rhythm here against Monroe.
Well, it may take a majority of the 10 rounds for Tompkins or Monroe to figure out the other one. Monroe's got a couple of big punches at the end of the round. Fighter cannot be saved with a bell except in the last round. And, of course, he didn't go down, so they're able to go to the corners. Well, the seconds are out as Chuck McGregor vacates the ring. The fighters meet in the center of the ring. Darrell Van Horn, the referee, getting some debris out of the corner over Monroe's corner. And here we go for round number 3. Monroe, again, a very solid finish of round 2.
When Monroe unleashed that combination, I think we got hit by some of that ring rust that we were talking about from Billy Tompkins. It was showing in that round. Billy game here in the third, trying to fight back. And he told me yesterday, hey, I've still got a lot to learn. I feel like I've got a body of a 21-year-old. He wasted some earlier years in boxing, didn't have the motivation he says he has now. And I tell you what, Sam, that tremendous conditioning by Billy Tompkins probably enabled him to weather that onslaught at the end of the second round by Carlos.
Monroe, 6'6", 262 pounds, set out on 2 or 3 of those 4 punches that were landed at the end of the round. Tompkins again was on the ropes. Had he gone down, of course, it would have been at the discretion of the referee to make sure he could be up and continued before the official round was over.
And Monroe trying some feints there against Tompkins. Made Tompkins think twice before moving in. And when you have a strong finish to a round like that and a fighter gets hit that solidly, it's interesting to see how he comes back the next round psychologically. Is he ruined for the rest of the fight? It doesn't look like Billy Tompkins is going to give up that easily.
Monroe's been down and out in only one fight, that being his 5th pro fight. That coming early in his career, knocked out in the 2nd round by Wayne Llewellyn. Weighing 253 at the night of that fight, but again got caught right on the chin.
And there's Tompkins going to the body. He's got to do more of that, although it does expose the head. Good left to the body by Tompkins, followed up with another double left hook.
So Tompkins comes back fighting. By the way, back to that only knockout by Monroe. It was stopped on a cut, so he's never been down.
Billy Tompkins has to turn this into the proverbial war in the phone booth, Sam. He can't stay on the outside of that jab like he's been doing all night. He's going to get eaten up. And there you just see that long spearing pull that Monroe has that's dominating this fight, and then he's dropping in the right hand. Well, Monroe is dropping the right hand, and that's enabling Tompkins to land the left hook. You see Tompkins with a low blow along the legs of Monroe. Once again, Tompkins has got to remember to move that head.
Big right hand again thrown by Tompkins as he throws it on a Monroe. The comparison will stop with only one factor, and of course, as you take a look at Monroe, just think about George Foreman had been fighting in his latter part out of that stand-up lumbering type thing, but that's where the comparison stops right there.
Left hook by Tompkins, and then he slipped when he tried to follow it up. Oh, he's calling it a knock, and that's the end of the round. The bell rang.
Round 4 will find both of the fighters still in their corner and on their stools as they get ready to come out for the answering of the bell. Another round. How about on your card, John? Another one for Monroe.
Well, that knockdown gave Monroe a 10-8 round. He's now up. I've got him up by 4 points. Now, Billy Tompkins has sparred with a lot of name heavyweights in his career. Carl the Truth Williams, Riddick Bowe, Bruce Seldon, Ray Mercer, Jeremy Williams. So it's not like he doesn't have any experience. But again, that long layoff, we're going to have a stoppage.
Monroe
the mouthpiece is out of Monroe.
Oh,
never
my.
had it.
Ouch.
Monroe really should have said something to the referee.
But it may tell you.
Lead right hand by Monroe. Billy Tompkins shook up.
Tompkins just trying to hang on. Now Monroe swinging so hard he knocks himself off balance. I was about to say, when he goes in without his mouthpiece, it almost shows you the concentration of Monroe and where he is. He's saying, okay, I've got it going this way, and forgets the mouthpiece. So he is very much pumped up for the start of this 4th round.
Well, he clearly sees how this fight's developing. Those long looping right hands.
Tompkins is in trouble again.
Uppercut by Monroe right on the chin of Tompkins, and he's hurt.
Tompkins has got a long way to go in this round. Nearly 2 minutes to survive.
Billy Tompkins' nickname is Knock 'em Silly Billy, but tonight it's Billy Tompkins getting knocked around the ring. There's an illegal tactic by Monroe using the forearm across Tompkins' throat. The referee breaks him up.
Darrell Van Note is the 3rd man in the ring. He may be coming to the point where he's got to start thinking about making a decision himself, as Tompkins was almost being punched silly over across the ropes, but has now apparently regrouped himself with a minute 18 to go in the 4th round.
Tompkins' legs a little bit unsteady, but you can see that conditioning has really helped him survive the big punches of Carlos Monroe.
Piece of tape on the glove of Monroe, and as he gets it free, he really pounds Thompson. Tompkins is out. He falls. They're going to make a count, but I think this one's over.
Well, the right hands hurt him, then the uppercuts finished him off. Billy Tompkins gamely getting to his feet. He doesn't know where he is, Sam.
No, it's over. A 4th round knockout by Carlos Mighty Monroe. And Tompkins is being helped across the ring to his stool.
And you just saw those concussive blows. Billy Tompkins wobbly on his feet. He doesn't know if he's in Idaho right now or Buffalo, New York, as he's being helped to his seat. They're trying to revive him in the corner. Trainer Chuck McGregor.
First time he has been stopped as a pro. First time he's lost it all. 13-1 now. And of course, the other side, Carlos Monroe gets his 11th win and his 7th by a knockout with one here in the 4th round. And what a lightning quick right hand he landed in on Tompkins again after he'd hurt him back in the 3rd.
Well, he was hitting him with those lead right hands, and you'll see what's going to start the trouble here and finish it off. Lead right hand, wobbled Tompkins, wide left hook. He's in trouble on the ropes, and there was the punch, the home run ball right up the middle, the uppercut. Pure guts on Billy Tompkins' part. Another uppercut. He was out on his feet, and he fell face first.
The crowd here at Coeur d'Alene being afforded the opportunity of watching the replays as well. And let's look one more time.
You just see the leverage that Carlos Monroe gets on those long right hands. He's throwing those babies from LA. Tompkins couldn't see him coming. That uppercut kind of grazed. It was the first uppercut, Sam, that really caused that final knockout.
And with Tompkins going nose face into the canvas, you knew that it was not going to be a night he'd be able to recover, as Carlos Monroe once again is up after the win. You see Billy Tompkins, and of course Dr. David Daly was the first to reach him in the corner, and of course his staff. They checked the blood pressure, asked him the important questions, and apparently has recovered after getting knocked out here in the 4th round. So a big win by Carlos Monroe. Let's go upstairs for the official time.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have the official results. The fighter got back up after the knockdown, so the referee stopped the fight at 2 minutes, 52 seconds of the 4th round. The winner by technical knockouts, Carlos Monroe.
Here again is the action again early on in round number 4. And you could see that Tompkins was just becoming a boxing pad, as again Monroe again continued to pound away on him. And again, this was early in that round.
Saturday, March the 21st.
Monroe again landing the big right hand.
5th anniversary celebration.
Tompkins was able to survive that round. And again, after a piece of tape was taken off the glove of Monroe, he finally finished it off with some big right hands, and Monroe comes up with the victory tonight, going 11-5, and again getting his 7th win by knockout. Upstairs to John Saraceno.
Thanks, Sam. I'm here with the winner, Carlos Monroe. Carlos, a very impressive performance. What power in that right hand?
Been working on it. My best punch is the uppercut, and once I established the jab, then the hook was more effective. I realized I was hurting him, so all I just need to do is catch him with that one good right hand. I know he would probably go down.
It looked like you had him off balance from the beginning. He never really got into a rhythm, and once you started pumping out that jab, he really couldn't deal with it.
Yes, I felt on the end of the jab. You know how when you hit a baseball bat and you're hitting a home run and you just feel it? Each time on the jab, I was just feeling. I can see his eyes getting watery. I said, just be a matter of time, just be patient, and just wait for the right shot to come. And I said, well, let me go with the uppercut, because he had both his hands up, so I came right up the pipe.
Did you think there was any way he could even get on his feet at that point?
No, like I said, it was like a home run. You know, you just know you hit a home run, and just that it was just wonder how much you can endure with it.
All right, now we're going to go to a little tape here, if we can, and see that knockout. You tell us what you're thinking here as you're unloading on.
I was thinking about throwing an overhand right. I've been working on the overhand right, so I said, see, he's right up the pipe. It's wide open. I saw it, and that's my best shot. Everything is on. 260 pounds on that shot, and just a matter of hitting him in the right spot near the jaw. I don't think not too many people can take that shot.
You're a very long puncher. Some of those shots you can kind of see coming, but he still couldn't deal with them.
Right. Well, my plan was to go with speed, and I had to make some adjustment. I had to go with power because he was a very strong guy. So I went with power this time. I went off my game plan. My game plan was to use speed. They told me to use speed, get my jab flowing. So I sat down. Once I realized I was sitting down pumping the jab, I had to throw a stiff jab, not a tip-tap jab, because he'll walk right through that. So I just sat down a little bit and measured my distance. I just measured. At one point, it was just perfect. If he stepped anywhere across that line, I knew where the line was. And I was hitting him, and he wasn't able to hit me. Once I found that zone, that territory, it basically was all over.
Now, you hurt him at the end of the previous round. Did you figure you could finish him in that next round?
I didn't want to get too excited. and ended up burning myself out, and because he has a nice hook also. He caught me with a couple of good hooks, and I didn't want to get caught with another shot, so I said, just take your time. You know, if he gave me that shot, he's going to give it to me again. When I hit him with the first time with the uppercut, I said, I'll be able to hit him again.
We noticed you were dropping your right hand a little bit, and that was enabling him to land that left hook once in a while.
Right. When I got inside, as long as I stayed outside, he couldn't throw the hook. So my corner said, don't let him get inside. So when he got inside, that's why I tied him up, let the referee push his back out, so I won't get hit with his deadly hook.